You gave them everything. You gave them your mornings before they were even awake, packing lunches, driving to school, sitting beside them when they were sick in the night. You gave them money you had not yet earned. You gave them the best years of your energy, your attention, your presence. And somewhere along the way, perhaps recently, perhaps years ago, you discovered something painful. The very things you shared with them were used against you. Not always with cruelty, sometimes with the quiet confidence of someone who simply knows too much about you. Someone who knows your fears. Someone who knows your regrets. Someone who knows exactly how much is in your bank account and has already decided in the back of their mind what to do with it when the time comes. If any part of what I just said landed somewhere tender inside you, please stay. This teaching is for you. My name is Mahinda Siritero, and I have spent many years sitting with families, parents in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, who came to the Dharma not for abstract philosophy, but because their hearts were quietly breaking. Not from loss of health, not from the fear of death, but from the strange, disorienting grief of feeling used by the people they loved most. The Buddha did not say, give everything, share everything, be an open book. The Buddha said something far more nuanced. He said, give with wisdom. He said, dana, generosity, is one of the highest virtues. But generosity without prajna, without wisdom, is not a gift. It is an invitation to harm. Today, I want to share 5 specific things that wise parents learn, often through painful experience, to keep close to their heart. Not because their children are bad people, but because some things, once shared, cannot be unshared. And because your peace, your dignity, and your well-being in this season of your life are worth protecting. Let us begin. The first thing you should never share with your children, at least not prematurely and not in detail, is the full picture of your finances. I understand why parents do this. You want to be transparent. You want your children not to worry. You want to feel that you are trusted members of the same family, not separate individuals with separate accounts. And there is something very human about wanting to be known, even in this way. But consider what happens in practice when you tell your adult children exactly how much you have saved, exactly what your investments look like, exactly what the will says. Something shifts. It may be subtle at first, a suggestion here, a comment there. Dad, why are you still driving that old car when you have... Or, Mom, do you really need to spend money on that trip? Wouldn't it be smarter to... The love does not necessarily disappear, but something is added to it, a calculation, an awareness. And where there was once a son or daughter simply being present with you, now there is someone quietly managing the timeline of an inheritance. The Buddha spoke of this dynamic through the story of a man who carried his gold through the marketplace with his hands open, showing everyone what he had. He did this because he was proud, because he wanted to be seen as prosperous, because he wanted people to trust him. And the thieves who followed him home that night were not strangers. They were people who had smiled at him, people who had said kind words, people who, once they knew what he carried, could think of nothing else. Your savings, your investments, your property, the contents of your will, these are yours. They represent decades of your labor, your sacrifice, your choices. They do not need to be displayed in order for you to be loved. And if someone's love for you increases significantly once they know the number, that is information worth having. The wise parent says, I have enough and I am cared for. And when the time is right, with proper legal guidance, the right people will know what they need to know. What to share instead? Share your values around money. Tell your children, I believe in living simply. I believe in giving generously. I believe in leaving less clutter and more love. These are the things that form character. The specific number forms something else entirely. And remember this, generosity is beautiful. Premature disclosure is not generosity. It is anxiety wearing the mask of openness. Sit with that. You do not have to prove your love with a bank statement. The second thing, and this one requires particular tenderness, is your deepest fears about growing old. I know how much courage it takes to even admit these fears to yourself. The fear of losing your memory, the fear of becoming dependent, the fear of being alone, the fear of dying in a way that is undignified or frightening or far too soon. These are real fears. They are human fears. And there is nothing shameful in having them. But there is something important to understand about who can hold these fears with you and who cannot. When you sit across the dinner table and say to your adult child, I'm so afraid of losing my memory, or I don't know what I'll do if I can't live alone anymore, you are handing them something heavy, something that most adult children, however loving, do not have the spiritual or emotional maturity to hold without acting on it. And how do they act? They begin to manage you. They begin to make decisions for you, under the sincere belief that they are helping. Suddenly you are being told what to eat. Suddenly the conversation at every family gathering circles back to whether you should still be driving. Suddenly someone is suggesting, gently, lovingly, insistently, that perhaps it is time to look at other living arrangements. Your vulnerability became their permission. This is not always manipulation in the harsh sense of the word. Often, it comes from love. But love mixed with fear, and fear without wisdom reaches for control. The Buddha, on the night of his great enlightenment, sat beneath the Bodhi tree and faced everything. Every fear, every demon, every vision of decay, disease, and death. He faced them alone, not because he was unfeeling, but because he understood that certain work must be done within before it can help anyone without. Your fears about aging belong first to your practice, to your cushion, to your breath, to perhaps a trusted counselor, a spiritual teacher, or a peer who is walking the same path. Someone who can hold your fear without needing to fix it, without needing to take over. This is not about suffering in silence. This is about discernment, about knowing the difference between sharing that heals and sharing that opens a door you may not be able to close. Cultivate abhaya, fearlessness, as a daily practice. Not the fearlessness that pretends there is nothing to fear, but the fearlessness that says, I have faced this before the Dharma, and I will not be destroyed by it. Your fear is yours. It belongs to your practice, not to your family dinner table. The third thing is one that many parents do without even realizing it, and it is one of the most destructive patterns I have witnessed in family life. Do not share your complaints about one child with another child. I know, sometimes one of your children calls, and they are warm and easy to talk to. And before long, you find yourself saying, your brother never calls. Or, I wish your sister understood me the way you do. Or even more directly, between you and me, I've always found it easier with you. It feels like intimacy. It feels like honesty. It feels like closeness. But what you have just done, without perhaps intending to, is chosen a side. You have made one child your confidant and made another child the subject of a private tribunal. And in family relationships, those verdicts do not stay private. They come out at Thanksgiving, in an argument 10 years from now, in a text message sent at 2 a.m. after one too many glasses of wine. Mom always liked you better. She told me so. The Buddha's teaching on right speech, Samavaka, offers us 4 questions to ask before we speak. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it timely? Is it beneficial? When you vent to one child about another, you may believe it is true, but it is not kind, it is rarely timely, and it is almost never beneficial. It fails 3 out of 4, and according to the Dharma, that speech should remain unspoken. There is something even more important here. When you make one child your confidant against another, you have placed yourself inside their game. You are no longer the source of peace in the family. You have become a participant in the conflict, and your words will be used as weapons long after you have forgotten saying them. The practice here is upekha, equanimity, seeing each of your children clearly, without comparison, without ranking, without the quiet scorecard we all carry inside. Each child came into this world as a separate being with their own karma, their own path, their own struggles. Speak to each child only about their relationship with you. Whatever difficulties exist between your children, let that belong to them. Your role is to be the still point, the place where each one is simply welcome, without condition, without comparison. This is harder than it sounds. It may be the hardest practice in this entire teaching, but it is the one that will most protect the long-term peace of your family and your own heart. The 4th thing may be the most surprising of all, because it often comes from a genuine desire for healing. Do not share your unprocessed regrets with your children, and do not, even gently, place blame on them or on their other parent for the sorrows of your past. I have sat with many parents who believe that by being honest about the past, by saying, I regret staying in that marriage as long as I did, or I was too hard on you when you were young and I know that shaped you, or I always felt guilty for choosing work over the family, they were healing something, closing a wound, building a bridge. And sometimes, with the right child, at the right time, with the right support, this kind of honesty can indeed bring people closer. But far more often, what I witness is this. The child receives the parent's regret and uses it, not necessarily with malice, but with the unconscious relief of someone who has just been handed an explanation for everything that went wrong in their own life. No wonder I have trouble with relationships. Look at what I grew up with. No wonder I've struggled. You've just admitted you were never fully present. No wonder I am the way I am. The regret you offered as a gift of honesty becomes a key that unlocks the door to a very long list of grievances. And once that door is open, it is very difficult to close. The Buddhist teaching on Kamma offers us clarity here. Every action, every word, every choice, every silence plants a seed. Those seeds are yours. They belong to your stream of consciousness. They will bear fruit in your own life, in ways seen and unseen. Offloading your karmic seeds onto your children does not dissolve them. It simply spreads them like seeds scattered into wind. They take root in places you never intended and grow into plants you do not recognize. There is a difference, a crucial difference, between healing and dumping. Healing is what happens when you bring your regret to a skilled therapist, to a meditation teacher, to your practice. When you sit quietly and let it arise and breathe with it and feel it fully and, in time, release it. This is the work the Dharma was designed for. Full liberation from past regret is not a metaphor. It is the actual promise of the path. Dumping is when you hand that raw, unprocessed pain to someone who is not equipped to hold it. Someone who, because they love you, will take it in and carry it, and may carry it for the rest of their life. Your children did not come into this world to carry your unlived life. They came with their own lives to live, their own karma to work through, their own dharma path to find. Do the work. Sit with your regrets in the presence of your practice, your teacher, your sangha. Let them be transformed there. And then, when the time is right, you will know what to say and what to release in silence. And now we come to the 5th thing, the one that perhaps most needs to be said in this room to this audience on this day. Do not tell your children how much you sacrificed for them. I know. I know how much you gave. I know that what you gave was real and enormous and often invisible. I know that you gave up dreams. I know that you gave up sleep. I know that you worked jobs you did not love, in towns you did not choose, for years beyond counting, because they needed shoes, because they needed school, because they needed you, every single day. And no one said thank you, not really, not in the way that would have made the wait feel worth it. And that silence has accumulated like water behind a dam for decades. So when it finally comes out, do you have any idea what I gave up for you? It comes out with force, with pain, with the full weight of all those uncounted years. And your child, who does love you in their own imperfect way, hears something that does not feel like love. It feels like a bill, a debt, a ledger that has been kept in secret all this time and is now being handed over for collection. And debt, even debt born from love, destroys intimacy. Because you cannot feel freely close to someone you owe. You can only manage the anxiety of the debt. The Buddhist teaching on dana, on true giving, is unambiguous on this point. True giving is given completely, without an invoice, without a receipt, without a story about the giving. The Bodhisattva, the being of great compassion on the path to full awakening, gives everything, health, wealth, time, even life itself, and keeps nothing, including the story of the giving. The moment you tell the story of the sacrifice, the moment you name it and offer it to someone else to hold, you have, retroactively, made it a transaction. And here is the gentle truth, offered with nothing but compassion. If you need your children to know how much you gave up, that need belongs to you. It is not a failing, it is deeply human. But it is something to bring to your practice, not to your children. Recognize your sacrifices in your meditation as beautiful karma. They are seeds already planted, seeds of love, of protection, of provision. They are not lost. They are in the ground, and in ways you may not always see, they are growing. Seek the acknowledgement of your sacrifices not from the people who benefited from them, who may never fully understand what it cost you, but from the deeper place within yourself that already knows. From your Sangha who have walked similar roads. From this teaching which says, what you gave was real, and it matters, and it is enough. Let your love be free of ledgers. Let it simply be what it was, an act of profound generosity, offered in full, already complete. 5 things, 5 invitations to protect not your love, but the wisdom that allows love to endure. Your finances, keep them private, share the values. Your fears about aging, bring them to your practice, not to the dinner table. Your grievances between children, hold equanimity, speak to each one about only their own relationship with you. Your regrets and past blame, do the work of healing within, not through disclosure. And your sacrifices, release the story of them, let them rest as beautiful karma in the ground where they were planted. Some of you may be feeling right now that this teaching is cold, that it asks you to close off, to hold things in, that it is the opposite of the openness and vulnerability that we are told in this culture is the path to genuine connection. I understand that feeling, and I want to offer you this. What I am describing is not coldness. It is not distance. It is not emotional withholding. It is the difference between a river and a flood. A flood has no banks. It goes everywhere at once. It is powerful, but it destroys what it touches. A river has banks, and because of those banks, it has direction depth, and the power to carry life for a very long way. Wisdom is the banks. Love is the water. The Buddha, in the Sigalovada Sutta, his direct teachings on family and social relationships, was clear that parents and children have mutual duties to one another. Parents give, children receive. Children, in time, care. Parents, in time, receive care. This is the natural and beautiful flow of life. But that flow requires wisdom from both sides. And when wisdom is absent, when parents give without discernment or children receive without gratitude, the river floods. And everyone is left standing in the wreckage, wondering what happened to the love that was there just a moment ago. You have walked a long road. You have given deeply. You have arrived at this season of life carrying more wisdom than perhaps you fully recognize. Because wisdom accumulated through suffering often does not announce itself. Let us take a moment together. Place one hand gently on your heart. And breathe in, breathe out. Call to mind your children, all of them, each face, each name, without judgment of what has passed, without rehearsing old wounds. Simply see them as they are, beings who arrived in this world through you, imperfect, searching, carrying their own sorrows and their own light. And now turn that same gentle gaze toward yourself. You are a parent who loved deeply, who gave generously, who is still learning, as all of us are, what it means to love with wisdom. May you be well. May you be at peace. May you know the freedom of loving without losing yourself. May all beings be happy. Sabbe satta sukhita huntu. If this teaching has touched something in you, sit with it before you share it. Notice what it stirred. Notice what it clarified. Notice what still feels unresolved. That space of noticing, that is your practice. I am Mahindasiddhi Tero, and this is Lotus Dharma Path. If these teachings bring light into your life, please share this video with someone who may need it, and consider joining our community by subscribing below. Until we meet again, walk gently, breathe deeply, and remember, wisdom and love are not opposites. Wisdom is love, seen clearly. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.